right, you guys. Well, I just wanted to wake ourselves up a little bit from the West Coast. It's only 8 a.m. So those West Coasters might need a little bit of like get up and going. So I know we've got a couple. Some of us have been awake for a while. But anyways, you guys, we are gonna jump right in and before we will take that first question, we'll take a couple questions. Then we'll kind of do a little pause and we'll do a little bit more introduction of Heidi and I and kind of, really why you're here and why we want to open this up to people. But this is really your time to truly ask anything. So Heidi, Mickey, I'm going to have you just kind of re-ask your question one more time because we've gotten the recording going now for those of you that actually missed the question. But we appreciate you, and this is a big question.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Heidi, hi. It's good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. Again, thank you for helping me with my leaky gut issue and my gluten issues. Saved my life. So thank you for that. Back when my man, this is so fast and I'm so sorry. And I promise y'all I'm not being rude. I'm just desperate. My man, when he was 17, had a motorcycle accident, took half his leg, gave him a TBI, traumatic brain injury. And he ended up, just having to learn everything over again, blah, blah, blah. So he healed up sort of okay. But within the last 2 years, he has slipped into oh my gosh, I got a train. SSS. Back in February of 2023, he kind of started going through a mental breakdown. And then by May, it was full on. I mean, things were happening all over town. And I know y'all, this is so not what y'all expected this morning, but he ended up getting arrested at the Walmart because he just went in and started going off on people. And that's not my Michael. So I know his mental breakdown was the cause of that. I don't know why it happened, but it happened. And then a few weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm unable to get a hold of him. And I all day Sunday, and Michael and I do not talk. And all day Sunday, I can't get a hold of him. All day Monday, I get to his house after work to do a wellness check. He's passed out on the ground. He thought he was going to die. I thought he was dead. Anyway, I got him to the emergency room. They kept him for about a week and a half, 2 weeks in the hospital, ICU first, and then a regular room. Anyway, long and the short of it is, it turns out he has something going on where he can't go whiz right. And they're saying it has to do with the prostate. My dad died of the prostate C word. So I'm very fearful of that. But anyway, all of that to say, so you have a little medical history.
Perfect.
The TBI is still hindering him from thinking properly and doing day-to-day activities and stuff of that nature. But he also, now we're trying to get him to the doctor to get his follow-up appointment on all of his blood work from where he passed out. Anyway, so my question is, can your holistic path, like you put me on, be helpful or even cure traumatic brain injuries and anything prostate?
Okay, there's a lot in that. We do have to start this webinar to say, this isn't medical advice. You do have to see your doctor and all that good stuff. But yes, with the functional medicine, we can look at different avenues that support those functions in the body, especially TBI. There really isn't a lot out there in the standard medicine that really helps TBI. If they don't have a pill for an ill, they go, well, we don't know how to help you. And so I would say in the functional world, there's functional neurologists. Kelly, she's neurological, like whiz kid PT, has worked with a lot of neuro people, so she can weigh in on this as well. But yeah, there's avenues that can help support those functions so the body can better find its homeostasis or balance itself.
Okay. And many people, I'll just piggyback, and many people give false hope that say like, oh, whatever you recover in the first 6 months or year, then just like live with the other deficits you have. But that's not true. It's not like, you have a birthday and suddenly feel different one day than another day. So the brain is very plastic. A lot of learning can happen, and it just needs the right environment, the right cues, the right nutrients, the right, supplementation. Unfortunately, the brain gets full of inflammation after a traumatic brain injury, concussion, and anybody that maybe had a concussion prior to a TBI or vice versa, and you start having multiple impacts to the brain, then you start having even longer standing. And that's, of course, the big movie came out, Concussion, about these individuals with CTE. But the brain is full of inflammation. And if we can get that down and we can help give the person strategies, there's a lot that we see hand in hand in which you're explaining to us of mental health that starts appearing after concussion or traumatic brain injury. But it all can be helped. To what degree? Everybody always asks, right? To what degree? We will never know. We can always do our best. And it's, of course, in part a lot of the compliance of the individual and the complexity and nature of what's going on in the individual.
Understand.
Is that helpful?
Understand. Very helpful information. I'm so glad about that.
So yeah, it's all connected. So there's a lot of different avenues of support that you can try, that you can implement.
And as far as self going rogue, which was kind of like your last question that you were asking, there is now clinical documentation of all sorts of cancers being able to be reversed. With that being said, again, every single person is very different, but I know both Dr. Heidi and myself have experienced many people, but you have to be extremely strict and diligent on certain protocols to help the body reverse why that's happened in the first place.
I understand that. That's what I believe that 100%.
So excellent. Thank you. All right, you guys, we'll come back, and if there's more questions that we'll get back to you. But in the meantime, some of you guys are muted and some you're not, but I'm just going to say either put your hand up or jump in. And next question. And if you can't ask, I know a couple people were going to maybe throw something in the chat, so I'll look over there as well. We've got some good mornings going on. But feel free, you guys. This is your time, like free time. When are we always like quiet? Cat got our tongue.
Okay, can I ask another question?
Sure.
Yep.
And then if it's not popular demand, I'm sorry. Don't come at me. It's just this is what I've been hearing. Michael. And this whole thing has to do with Michael today. And it's so odd that right now you're doing this Ask Anything, because I have so many questions on, I don't even know how to help my man anymore. And I believe in Dr. Heidi and her knowledge. So thank you for that. But here's my second part of that. Back in 2022 of October, and here we go, Michael got the vaccines. 3 months later, 3 months later is when all this stuff started happening. And I have read and I have seen doctors say that the 3 biggest things that they're seeing in men, especially men that receive the vaccines, is myocarditis, heart events, and neurological disorders. Well, what's the brain? Neurological. Do you believe in any of that?
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, absolutely. There's well-documented information out there, and it's not just alternative information. It's in PubMed, it's in the literature, Mayo Clinic, and things like that. So they are seeing this, they are acknowledging these side effects with that COVID virus. They're still not willing to 100% admit with the vaccine, but but it's out there, and I see it. I think if anyone's in practice as a practitioner, we are seeing that. We are seeing the correlation that there's someone's life is going along pretty normally, and then there's this down drop. So especially with TBI, you're already going to have a window into neuroinflammation. And so getting those viruses can cause that neuroinflammation flare.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No, I would just say, unless you've been kind of hiding under a rock. And again, there's 2 sides of the coin, because I still meet people that are very much diehard believing the, you know, epidemic that we went through is all truth as we were told. But I think if you're on this call with us today, you may have a different mindset. And so
amen to that.
yeah. And so, yes, I think our just bodies have been more susceptible than ever. And why it's even more important for each one of us to take our health in our own hands today, because I think what we haven't even, you know, for any of us that either had COVID or if we did have the vaccine, I don't think we've even scratched the surface of what we will see with health challenges that appear in the next decade. And so us being proactive is even more important than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But great question.
Great from a thought process. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just all over the place.
That's okay.
So I'm
kind
probably
of losing you.
Gonna have to probably set up a one-on-one with Heidi and
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. With her.
Perfect. Elena is
okay, but I am almost to his head. Wanted to thank y'all, and I'm gonna sign off.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks for being with us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So Elena is asking, I'd like to know if there is a test on MTHFR. The test I took 2 years ago was very expensive and is not paid for by insurance. I'd like to know what my levels are. So you almost need a second part of that question, Elena, because you either have the gene or don't have the gene. And there's many variations of it, and it may or may not be being expressed. Heidi, I'm going to have you jump to answer that part of her question, and then maybe you can be a little bit more specific if you have something that's popping up more going on, Elena.
Yeah. Yeah, there a lot of the times if you just test for that one gene, that's that's like doing a cross or a big puzzle and you're only getting one piece of it or one tiny corner of it. It's not going to help make the puzzle. There's so many variations of the MTHFR gene. And some are more depending on if you're homozygous, heterozygous, and what the combination is. So it's about a big pathway that those genes go into. And so how clogged does it get? I do recommend that everyone does a full genetic panel, because the MTHFR in and of itself is not going to give us enough information to really get good advice.
Okay, so she said, I do have the gene and the doctor said it was very high. And then she's asking, do you have a test? So I'll let you continue on that, Heidi.
Yeah, I'm not sure what very high means unless it's homozygous. Yeah, I'm not sure what very high means. It's either on or it's off. And we can tell by symptoms and some blood work to say whether it's on or off. The test I like to do is called 3x4genetics.com. You can check it out. Why I like that test, and I have done all the genetic tests out there. Why I like this one and have landed in with this group, because their test is much more actionable. It really does a deep dive, and it's not just fun facts, just like it sounds like you received. Oh, I have an MTHFR and it's very high. Well, it's a fun fact, but that doesn't help you. Well, what do you do about it? How do you maintain it? How do you get around that gene? What are the side effects when that isn't functioning? It's not just a fun fact. It's a real thing. And I like the 3x4 genetic profile because it gives us so much more information to really correlate and use our genes as a blueprint for nutrition, for workout, for weight gain, weight loss. It's fantastic.
And thank you, Dr. Heidi. So I'm working right now, but I put myself on a restroom break because this is very important. I'm going to be, totally transparent as much as I can with the time that I have. But so I have been activated for 10 years now. And I have a lot of it's not numbing in the body because I can feel, but a lot of whenever you put on a tourniquet and you let it loose, that's how my body feels. So it's mainly my legs from my feet all the way up to my legs, and sometimes in my shoulder back area. And so when I went, and I wish I would have been prepared with that test of what they did for me, but I don't have that and I can't get access to it right now. but she said my markers are very high, is what she said. And so they did put me on some kind of methylation pill. And it's, I mean, I'm always hurting. My bones are always hurting. I have a lot of joint pain. And so I'm trying to figure out, I didn't want to go and retest. I paid a lot of money for this test. And it's like, I would love to know my levels, but Dr. Heidi, I would love to know more about that test, because I would love to learn how, like what foods, will help my body. And so I'm sorry. I know that I'm not giving very good specifics, but that's all I can share right now.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on all of that, as the story that the company helps not only us as practitioners, helps people to understand what's going on, but you may have other genes, and when you add them all together, it makes that one more profound for you than others. Mm-hmm. But the analogy that Heidi always gives, that her mentor really shared, is if you're, going to drive across Texas, there is the fastest route. But if you knew what sort of construction was in your way, you'd be able to avoid that construction, right? So right. By knowing your full genes and blueprint, you'll still be able to get across Texas. We just might have to take you a different route, avoid potholes, take a different bridge. It may take a little longer, but you can still get there. But unless you know the blueprint, then we might not get there.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the markers that we use for whether someone is methylating well, and the MTHFR is methyl tetrahydrofolate, for those who don't know. If you are methylating and getting that methylation into with the cells, and everything in our body has to be methylated. This is why this gene is so important to know, and all the genes that are associated with it. And so everything has to be methylated, and our hormones, our neurotransmitters, the chemicals we're exposed to, all of it. And so it's important to be a good methylator. These methylations are highly dependent on B6, folate, and B12. The marker that we use to see if that B12 is getting into the cell and that there's probably adequate methylation is called homocysteine. And that's an easy blood test. It's inexpensive. It's not like a crazy test to do, right? To ask your doctor, can we just run a homocysteine when we run a CBC or whatever? And that number should be 7, between 6 and 7. It should not be, they let you go up to 14. It should not be over 7, because we know even at 8, we start to get neuronal damage. Our neurotransmitters start to have issues. And the higher that number goes, the more issues we have, and particularly cardiovascular issues. So I don't know if you're being supported enough. Is your dose high enough, or is it too high? Do you also have the MTRR gene, which would say, oh, I need support with methylation, but not too much, and finding that sweet spot. So this is why getting the whole blueprint is important to know. So we know really how to dose, how to target it, and how to effectively help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So welcome. So welcome. Yeah, Norm.
I got to jump here at 10:30, so I'm real short on time. But Heidi, as you recall, I fight lupus symptoms, and that has a whole list of side effects, but inflammation being the one I'm most worried about. I strained my back a couple months ago and went into the back doctor to make sure there wasn't any physical damage, and there wasn't. Good news. But he put me on meloxicam, just the lowest dose possible.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, like a week of just total inflammation free. I felt so good. My riding speeds went up, just life, my body was so much stronger. It's just so nice. But I can't stay on that stuff. So I dropped it because I don't want to, kill my kidneys or get my stomach all inflamed. So my question is there a good supplement that really helps against inflammation, particularly if its origin is lupus oriented?
Yeah. So there is a supplement. It's called PEA. I don't know if you've tried that. Very effective in reducing overall inflammation. The other thing I would say maybe you and I can have a conversation with is GLP-1 peptide, or BPC 157 peptide. These are messengers that talk to our nervous system, to our brain, to say reduce inflammation, reduce pain.
Here's that call coming in. I apologize.
No worries. But yeah, let's talk more about try the PEA, and then maybe let's talk peptides.
Perfect. And Heidi, is he activated?
No.
Yep. That
will help.
Activated collagen as well could really help with his lupus.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll get round back to him. Vicky, Brenda, Greg, Loveland, who else is out there with questions?
Love, if you test.
Love put a question in the comments.
Oh, perfect. If your test says you have low melatonin naturally, can you take melatonin to help increase it? Can I increase it once you lose it?
Yes, you can increase it once you lose it. The trick with melatonin is you don't want to exceed physiological function. Without getting too sciencey, but I love this part, is melatonin is made at night. This is why everyone takes it to help it sleep. But there's a process of the body really loves to go through to make melatonin. So to just pop melatonin in and the body didn't have a chance to make it on its own, there's a bit of a confusion, and over time can cause a real dysregulation with adrenal function. So 5-HTP, 5-alpha reductase, is helps with the precursors, the precursor to serotonin. Then the body takes that serotonin and makes melatonin as we go to sleep. Melatonin then primes our immune system. We wake up ready to go, face the day, let's hit it, and everyone's on board, right? So if you have a test that says you're low in melatonin, you may not be getting deep enough restorative sleep, or most of the time what I see is people are not making enough serotonin in their sleep to get the conversions. And so I recommend taking 5-HTP, 50 milligrams before you go to bed, to encourage that production of serotonin, and then it will just pick up the slack and start to make more melatonin.
Okay. So 5-HTP versus taking those melatonin pills that you see in the stores and stuff.
Yeah, because most of the ones in the stores are too high a dose. We only make 3 milligrams of melatonin at night. That's all we should make.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of times the pills are 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, crazy high. It's important to get your melatonin because it is cancer protective. It's neuroprotective. But that's why we make it at night, because when I say primes our immune system, it signals and gets our immune system ready to fight cancer cells, fight pathogens, fight all the good fight that we face every day as we wake up. So it's important to have that melatonin and find strategies to get it up.
And then on the flip side, Heidi, I would say strategies to boost serotonin to help with that conversion.
Yep.
Sorry, it's delivery. Hey, girl. But anything else you'd want to tell her about how to upregulate serotonin better?
Yeah, serotonin is made with a good amount of protein, the right amount of amino acids throughout the day with our food, because amino acids make our neurotransmitters. So it only comes from protein. It's not going to be coming, from carbs. And exercise. The quickest way I had a mentor that I still have the mentor, but he always says if someone can't sleep, it's because they're not exercising enough during the day. They're not moving enough during the day. And that's what produces serotonin, dopamine, and then ultimately GABA, which is the only relaxing gene. We produce that GABA. We can be restful, relax, go to sleep, get into that deep sleep, and then make that melatonin.
Okay, so if you don't get enough protein and exercise in the day, then you won't make that much melatonin.
Your body will do it because it's a highly precise, wonderful machine, but it's going to run out of capacity to do so over time.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Heidi.
I love that because people, eating enough protein is a very hot topic right now, but people don't understand it's not just for like weight management, right? It's about all these other processes the body makes. And the fact that Loveland, I know you've had some sleep challenges, right? So if you're not getting that deep sleep, then your body can make all these things. We often as humans are just looking for like, what's the best, just one thing to do to fix it versus fixing us, right? What should we be doing? Because we technically make all this amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Vicky threw a question in here and she said, would it hurt to take 5-HTP if you don't need it?
Are you sleeping?
Vicky, can you come off mute for a sec? Because we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
I don't know if I need it or not. I just was wondering because I know my husband and doesn't sleep well, but he probably doesn't move enough either. I heard that after I was typing. And he and my daughter both occasionally will take melatonin. So I was just wondering if it would be better to take the 5-HTP, if there was any downside to taking that. And is it something that you take every day or something that you just take occasionally?
No, it's something you can do sort of longer term. And it won't hurt you if you technically don't need it, but if you're not sleeping and getting that deep restorative sleep, you probably need it.
Yeah, no, I die when I go to I don't sleep a lot, but when I do, I go down. But my husband gets up a lot to go to the bathroom, so his sleep isn't steady. It doesn't get a lot of deep sleep. So I was wondering if that, might help him as well.
Uh-huh.
Because it sounds like it'd be better to take that than it would the melatonin. Not that he takes it very often, but occasionally.
Yeah, it would be better to take that than the melatonin, but the only caution with a 5-HTP is it does increase your serotonin. So if someone is on one or probably 2 SSRI type drugs, I probably wouldn't do it.
What's SSRI?
Depression medicine like Prozac or
okay.
What are some of the others? I can't remember all their names.
Yeah. But anything for depression for the most part, Vicky. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So you can see Alana is showing us her protein pack from Prime Protein there. But the question is, for those of us that don't eat much meat, what are your thoughts about Prime Protein grass-fed isolate powder?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't eat much meat, you have to do something. And these isolate powders are good as long as they are grass-fed and clean. There's no other fillers in it. So really read the labels closely. And
I think I'm familiar with that one, and I think it's pretty clean.
Okay, yeah. There's so many out there, but if you find one that works for you and you can tolerate, don't be shy. Drink it. It's best to do it before you eat, especially if you're trying to lose weight, because it's really going to give you satiation of the meal. So you're not depending on eating carbs and sugars and sweets. You're going to immediately have satiation, like, oh, I'm full. I have all this protein.
And then I would definitely say find other forms of protein that you can actually eat as well, and not just rely on powders all the time. Yep.
Even if you don't like meat and there's plant protein, you have the powder and the plant protein. Eat a lot. We need your weight in grams, or your goal weight in grams a day of protein. That's just science. That's like tried and true.
Yeah.
Gotta have science.
Yeah.
Science, yeah. Greg, question. Yeah.
Yeah, my question. I'm 73. I just want to know what's going to be a good diet for me now. I mean,
It's such a great question, Greg, because Kelly and I talk a lot about this, and you're just meeting Kelly, but we talk a lot about this with our women who are aging, self-included, right?
Right. No, you're not aging. You look fabulous. You look great.
I love you.
You look great.
We have to up our game in terms of making sure we get enough protein, making sure we're getting the most varied, colorful veggies out there. It's key to getting the colorful veggies. It's really interesting, the clients I see that eat the same veggies all the time because that's what they like and it's easy to buy, and
Right.
you know, and the ones that really make that effort to go out and try different things. I have a woman just recently who came in to visit, and she said, I can't eat the amount of veggies you want me to do, so I'm just throwing fresh veggies in a grinder smoothie thing and drinking it. And I'm like, how do you feel? She goes, I feel great. My hair's growing, my skin's good. I can't believe it. I'm like,
yeah.
So
yeah.
even if you can't eat it, because it is a lot, the diversity, because each veggie gives us, of every color, gives us a different nutrient component. And so getting that good, clean protein, our weight in grams of protein a day, tons and tons of veggies, and plenty of fats. So mostly olive oil. I tell people don't drizzle it, drink it, because it lowers our cholesterol, it lowers inflammation.
Really?
Does
it
it
matter
helps
if
our
it's organic?
organs.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Does it matter if it's organic? It does. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it matter if it's virgin or extra virgin? This is
the cleanest one you can get is the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Greg, I love how you started with what's the best diet for me. And the word diet is such a, it's so ambiguous, right? Because we just mean, what should we eat? But the world thinks, does that mean, I should go on Weight Watchers or keto, or they think it's a diet, right? Like it's the word, especially in the United States, I feel like it's so obscure.
No, of course, it's an obsession.
And really, but to come back to all of us is, we have a requirement for proteins and our amino acids. We have a requirement in all of our phytonutrients and our fruits and vegetables and everything that Heidi was talking about, but we have no carbohydrate requirements. Right. So I think in our diet, if we can just think about having it full of all these different colors of fruits and vegetables and making sure we're getting our clean sources of protein, we're pretty set.
And people say, well, go ahead.
No, you.
No, it's your.
I'm here for you. No. Well, what about carbohydrates? What about them? Do I need them, like rice and potato and the nightshades and those things? Do I need them? I love them, but do I need them?
You don't necessarily need them. I like the nightshades because they do include different colors like eggplant and peppers and things like that. So yes, they do add to that component. So yes, in a word on those, yes. I do advise people who have rice, who have potatoes, even sweet potatoes, even though they're healthier. You always want to get those organic. But here's a trick, is cook them and then eat them cold, or at the very least room temperature, because once you cook them, they change molecular makeup, and then you make them cold and they change even again. And what is great about a cold rice or a cold potato is that it feeds all the good bacteria in your microbiome. They love that stuff. And
cold rice.
Yeah.
You can, once it's cold, you can warm it back up again. Like, don't cook it again and make it hot again, but you can warm it up again.
Just to take that chill off.
It's the process of it going cold that converts it again. And even, this is an interesting fact, and Heidi, this is just what I'm hearing, is not only your rice and potatoes, but you can actually even take your breads, freeze them in the freezer, and that will also help that process of converting the carbohydrate.
If we just don't want to go to, it slows down from becoming a quick sugar producer to a very slow sugar producer.
Okay. All right. And I love bread. I could eat bread all day, but I can't eat much, bread. I love bread, I should have a bakery. I'd be 3,000 pounds. So constipation. Okay. So I try to stay away from bread, rice, applesauce, and what's the other one? Rat. What's the T? Toast. Fucking toast. Yeah. So, so I'm trying to eat more food. I mean, I eat food every day. So here's quickly, I know you probably don't want to hear this. So I have fresh spinach for breakfast with strawberries, blueberries. Now I'm putting some cherries in there with a bunch of powders like maca powder and goji berries and cacao powder and cacao nibs and as many anti-inflammatories as I can stuff in the magic bullet, right?
Mhm.
But I still am constipated, I'm not
Yeah.
happy with it. It's not,
Lemon water.
and I drink a lot of lemon water per my wife's suggestions, of course. But even then, so that's why I'm concerned about my diet. My diet, it's not right.
Yeah. First I would say, unless Kelly, you want to pop in, but first I would say there's too many Aries in the thing, too many berries. There's too much sugar in that first meal of the day. You start out great putting that spinach, but the minute you put more than 2 pieces of fruit in it, it becomes a little bit of diabetes in it.
2 strawberries or 2 blueberries kind of thing?
A little bit, a handful of blueberries, and what was the research on? I think it's 8 medium-sized strawberries, and actually shown.
Yeah.
Like a handful of strawberry and blueberries, and that's all the sort of sugary, fruity.
Yeah, right. No, you're right.
And then the rest do your powders and things like that. See if that changes.
Okay.
The other thing to help with that constipation is gargling, and maybe you and I've talked about that before, but you want to gargle for 2 minutes. Set a timer for 2 minutes. At least twice a day if you can. So I usually tell people, like, after you brush your teeth or before you brush your teeth, gargle. Set the timer for 2 minutes, get water, gargle as aggressively as you can. So sing a song, say your ABCs, whatever, but as loudly as you can.
I can see it now. Okay.
Right. So, even the neighbors come by and go, I heard some weird noises. Is everything okay? That's how loud it is.
Somebody drowning in there? Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Why that is effective, and it's one of the most effective things, is the consistency of that. The vibration activates your vagal nerve or cranial nerve 10, which is the communication pathway, and it's a huge communication pathway from our brain to our gut and our gut to our brain. And that gargling, that vibration syncs back up that conversation. So the brain can say, hey, it's time to eliminate, or no, we're running from the tiger, no time to poop. Run, so it actually helps our body decide when to let release and when not to.
Wow. What am I gargling with?
Water.
Just water. Okay.
A quick question. I don't even mean to hijack that, but I had a lot of stress. I lost my voice for several days from stress, and then I got sick, and I still have a gravelly. I still don't have it. One of my students said that's the vagus nerve. Would that gargling help reset that?
Yeah. Except you want to, where I want him to be so aggressive that the neighbors can hear him gargle, I want you to go a little bit more gently.
Okay.
Because we don't want to irritate it, but we want to activate it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, It's been months. It's crazy.
And then, Greg, for you or your wife, obviously, anytime our body is in high stress, and sometimes we don't think we're in stress, but it's stress or trauma-ish environment, our GI system can also shut down. So I don't know if you do some mindfulness time, relaxing things. Sometimes if we're all go, 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 we don't even allow our bodies to be able to go through that digestion process.
I just wrote a book.
That's stressful.
I'm telling you this. Can you read that? I don't know if you can read that.
Can't read it.
Is it upside down? Anyway, it's called The Man Who Became a Tree, and I'm only addressing that because I spend a lot of time meditating as if I'm a tree.
I love that.
Love it.
I watch trees grow, if you can believe it.
Okay.
And they watch me age,
Trees are fantastic.
Trees are fantastic.
Every time I see a tree, I go hug it because it's just so great.
Trees are great. Okay. I feel like I'm hogging, so I'm not going to talk.
No, please.
That was great. Yeah, so I'm getting old. My skin does stuff like this. I bump it and it bleeds, and your doctor says you're old. So I'm just interested in as holistic as I can become because I'm trying to reach a place in my life physically. I work out, I go to the gym, I'm trying to do everything right. I have terrible sugar addictions during the holidays, probably the worst food ever, right? So I don't know what to do with that. I'm trying to exercise willpower and it's better. But I'm just trying to find that diet, and I like this about too many. I mean, you see things on Facebook, don't eat blueberries, they'll kill you, or don't eat bananas, and it's like everything's so contradictory there,
Yeah, it gets so confusing out there, but really, in fact, Brenda, who was just on the call and she had to pop off to go to the gym, I like that. She actually commented that if she gets her protein up to the normal amount, her cravings for sugar went away. She had just such much less struggle. And many of my clients have said that, like, if I really get that protein need, I just don't crave the sugar because we're craving sugar because we're low in protein.
What is the equation on the meat protein grams per weight? Is that how it works? The weight?
Yeah, it's your weight.
Yeah.
In grams per day.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, like I eat 130 grams of protein a day.
And if somebody were looking to lose weight, Greg, then it would be their ideal body weight versus their actual weight for somebody that's on a real weight loss journey. The two other things, Heidi, I'll jump in and then you can maybe speak to about as well. If you're just looking really at like overall, aging, Greg, right? And what you can do to maximize your health and wellness as you're aging. The two other products to consider is one, Heidi really had mentioned it earlier for Norm, is about the GLP-1s. And there's actually a natural system out there now, not the injections. Some people are doing microdosing if they're exercising and if they're eating the proteins, but there's a natural system that can, one, help you with those cravings significantly, to optimize your whole body, your blood sugar into normal ranges, which is obviously so important, many other health benefits. The second product, and I don't know if Heidi in the past had introduced it to you, is a product called Protandim NRF2. And that is the master regulator of gene expression. So even if you doesn't matter what bad genes you have, ultimately we want to keep all of our good genes on and our bad genes off. So we want our own body to produce antioxidants, our own bodies to fight off inflammation, our own bodies to help us detoxify and methylate. That is one of the things, because if you can reduce that oxidative stress, in theory, then you can start reducing your risk of age-related diseases.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a lot of information. And so was the first thing microdosing? Is that what you were saying?
So Heidi, I'll pass it back to you for him, what you would think would be in his best interest.
Yeah. So there's pill capsule form, which a lot of people prefer to start with instead of the injections. And that's just a regular dose. That is designed and proven to actually activate the genes in your body that make GLP-1.
Okay.
GLP-1 is powerful. The research on it is so powerful, and our body's utilization of it, which is why we have a mess of genes that turn it on, but they wind down as we get older. And because they think, well, we don't need to go be lifting a lot of rocks. We don't need to be running after kids. We don't, so the requirement preset as we come into the world starts to turn down. So we can turn those back up without causing horrible side effects. That's another good thing about the GLP-1 is it either works or it doesn't. There's no horrible side effects. But you can do that capsule or injection. And injection, if someone goes to injection, I really like the research around microdosing, which means I'm not going to give you a dose, or nor do I recommend a dose that we would give someone who's obese or has metabolic disease, prediabetes or diabetes, because that's going to be too much for that person. And then we would have horrible side effects. So a microdose is just like a smidgen of that particular dose in injection form. And oftentimes it's exactly what we need to trigger better production of GLP-1.
Okay. All right. Well, we should talk about, I'll get in touch with you after this, and maybe I'll come in and we'll.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the science of
I'm getting a blood test done. I should have it in a couple of days. So.
Okay.
Take a look.
Are they doing hormones? Are they looking at your?
No, they're just doing the typical, yes.
We'll get you.
I'll get one for you. Well, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah.
One thing I don't want, a lot of people I know in their 40s, 50s, they're taking testosterone now, Well, that's the last thing I want to do is get you amped up on testosterone. I'm done with that. My warrior days are over. Okay. I'm retired. I don't have to go to the battlefield today anymore,
Right.
Which is.
We need to, and why you want to test it is to make sure you have a level that's going to be neuroprotective and cardiovascular protective. So for women, it's estrogen. For men, it's testosterone. We need a certain amount available for that protection. And it's incredible what it can do. But there's so many ways to get the body to turn that back on naturally without having to do these exogenous sources and high dose. It's not recommended. Yeah.
Okay. And what about mushrooms, all the mushroom supplements? I mean, what do
any thoughts on that, Kelly?
I love my mycelium, but is there any, and I'm not looking for science per se, but I guess I am,
Yeah, I mean, if you have a clean quality supplement of whatever you're taking, so a lot of these mushroom supplements, there can be a benefit for. Sometimes it's brain function, sometimes it's just an antioxidant. However, what I would say is I believe that one other product that I shared with you, which is called I know it's like a mouthful, Protandim NRF2, will give you a better benefit because it's turning your body back on to start producing its own antioxidants versus taking these extra supplements.
That just sounds fantastic.
So honestly, I would reach out to Heidi and she can recommend a couple things, even the natural GLP-1 that you can activate as well, because our bodies are truly the miracle if we give it what it needs.
Yeah. I know. I feel great, and I'm getting older, and I still feel up here. I feel great.
It's awesome. And I'm so glad Norm jumped back on. His call must have been short.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was able to get through my stuff. So I apologize for jumping off there, but I guess my notes that I had for the lupus generated inflammation was to check on a PEA supplement and then also a GLP-1 peptide.
Yeah.
Is that the correct stuff? I jumped. I didn't know if you had other stuff or.
Yeah, the other peptide that I'd recommend for chronic pain is BPC 157.
That was BPC 157?
Peptide,
okay.
And I can email you a brand that has probably the most, I would say the most rigorous research on capsule form versus injectable. And this capsule form actually is winning out. So I can send you a link to, I think you can buy it. I don't think you need a practitioner to have it.
I still do the full script under your name. So
yeah, I don't think it's on full script yet. But I'll check it out. I'll send you a link and I think it'd be worth a try.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, then go ahead.
I was just going to add to that, Norm, just like I was sharing with Greg at the end, there's the one other supplement called Protandim NRF2. I know that when I was training and doing a lot of how I actually got introduced to it was through one of my mentors when I was doing my half Ironman, because it was helping her performance and her recovery by overall reducing full body inflammation. It does so much more than that. But she couldn't believe adding that, her performance and her recovery ultimately was improved so much.
Okay. And that was Protandim. What was the end of that?
Yep. So Protandim, and then there's letters, N as in Nancy, R as in Roger, F as in Frank, and then number 2. And Heidi can send you a link for that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So you guys probably are going to need to email Heidi all of your own notes because she's not going to remember what we told all of you guys. So like email her back in your portal like, hey, help me with XYZ. And for those of you that don't have access to Heidi yet, don't worry, we have some other stuff to share with you before we close. But Norm, you were still asking another question. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna switch gears, and Heidi, you'll probably smirk a little bit here, but after many, many years of struggling with my marriage, I'm actually in the process of restructuring that divorce, I guess. And I have an interest in somebody that unfortunately is in Oregon, but we have a very healthy relationship developing, and I'm going to get to see her in February. So that brings up the concept of just how I want to be at my best. So I guess just male vitality and prostate health, stuff like that. Is there a supplement there that just might help me be in my best performance on something I haven't had to worry about for years and years?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'd probably go more for the peptides because they are super effective. And I mean, we can talk about, just because I need more background to see if there's a window of doing more capsule type supplementation, et cetera. Or do we jump right to a peptide? So yeah, let's talk about it. But yes, there are things out there that are very supportive and very natural, and they work.
Okay. Excellent.
And Heidi, even the activated collagen in combination with Protandim, with the whole blood vessel health and everything, because it's all about blood supply and blood vessel support, could be really great.
Yeah. And that's, Kelly just made a great point. It's all about blood flow, right? If we get good blood flow, blood vessel flow, ears, toes, nose, and hose, things will work well. And even though just because we're an athlete doesn't mean the blood flow is good everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And that was a collagen type product, or?
It's in combination with that NRF2 and the collagen. What they found when you add those together, the synergy is quite remarkable on supporting vascular health and flow without raising blood pressures. A lot of people are joining, and Greg thought it was at 11, so I'm not sure.
Well, I didn't see the Eastern time. I saw 11 Eastern time. So of course, I'm on early at 10, just making, doing my homework, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I know Anna's on, or Anna, is it Ann or Anna? Anna, I think, and Tanya and Nicole. Nicole's been on for a while. So you guys, Heidi, do you have a hard get off right now, or do you have a little buffer of 15-20 minutes?
I think I have a buffer.
Okay, perfect. So if you guys want to continue stay on, please stay on. And other ladies, if you can't come on camera and you want to ask a question in the chat, ask it in the chat. If you can come on camera, that would absolutely be great. And in the meantime, while we have this like mini interim, I'm going to introduce myself. There's a handful of you guys that don't know me, but Dr. Heidi and I met about, 4 years ago now, Heidi. It's maybe even longer, right? But time is going by. My background is I've been a physical therapist for almost 30 years, and my specialty was stroke, traumatic brain injury, concussion, neurological disorders. And my husband and I had our private practice out in Orange County, California. Absolutely love what I've done. But over the past 10, 12 years for me, after I saw my father pass of cancer, I jumped kind of in the whole world of functional medicine and root cause and why did he get this? And what I realized is for my clients, I needed to serve them at a greater level. And so I started being able to provide things on a wellness, cellular health and wellness level for them, which was including hyperbaric oxygen, infrared sauna, bringing in more things that can activate the body's healing processes. So Heidi and I met. We have had some women's programs together. Heidi and I have a podcast together. If you don't already follow, we hope you follow. And ultimately, most people just don't have opportunities to ask clinicians, really like, let me have help. But on the other side, what Heidi and I realized is sometimes they go to a doctor or doctor visit, whether it's somebody in the natural medicine world or not, but then the follow-up is so difficult. So I now am out of my clinic full time and I do high performance health coaching. So in tandem, what Heidi and I can offer together is a full spectrum really approach to wellness. And we have a new program starting. This program is going to be specifically for women, but men, you can figure it out and come along the path with Heidi, and just realizing that the approach of set it and forget it, right? When Heidi and you have a visit and it's like, oh, okay, great. And then all of a sudden 6 months down the line, you're like, how did I fall off track? What happened to me? Of learning that you need some sort of accountability. So before we kind of jump into the little program, I know, Anna, you're on, and I was looking for other questions as well. Anna, if you want to come on and answer your question, and Vicky's question was, I think in piggyback of Greg in a moment, and I'll have you go. But the issue with, he was talking about spots on his skin, and Vicky says, as far as the skin with blood spots, basically, is there anything you can do about it? So we'll come back to that, Vicky. I just don't want to forget it. So Anna, hi, welcome. Where are you coming in from? Somewhere in the Dallas area?
I'm in Texas, and so I thought it started at 11, so I must have missed the time
That's
zone.
okay. And you know what? In the emails, I'll have Heidi's assistant more specify in the future. Yeah, like everybody gets the time zones.
Well, I know Heidi, so I was thinking I've seen her in Dallas. Yeah. I'm curious of the GLP-1, the natural form of that for insulin resistance, and then infrared saunas if you have breast implants. Oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll start, and then Heidi, I'll let you go back on it. But yes, what's really, really interesting, Anna, because obviously GLP-1 has kind of become the talk of the town, right? That everybody knows what's going on, but many people potentially aren't interested in having a pharmaceutical going the injection route, and or it's more expensive historically, just depending for the individual. But yeah, it's a brand new product, and instead of a product being relabeled as a GLP-1 support, this is actually a 2-part product that is now patent pending, but it upregulates your own body's production of GLP-1 by up to 140% on average. And what's nice is the people have already been on it and been doing blood tests before and after. They've been wearing some glucose monitors and can't believe what it's doing of keeping their levels in range. And then other people that are looking at it for like lowering cholesterol, triglycerides, A1C, all those markers are going down. It's phenomenal. So yeah, it's called the Mind Body GLP-1 system. And Heidi can make sure to get you a link for that as well. It's phenomenal. And then as far as breast implants and infrared sauna, I don't think there's any contraindication at all for sauna and breast implants. Heidi, anything you want to speak to that on?
Not any more than, just living with them, right? It's not going to activate. Yeah, I haven't heard of anything making that worse or better. But okay, you're going to detox so much better. So just having them trying to find my words, just having them in the body, whatever toxicity that might generate, the sauna is going to help get rid of or get detox out of. So it's probably a good idea instead of a negative one.
Okay. I want them removed, but I don't have breast implant illness, but I have been following along with some of those people, and there's, I guess maybe it depends on how hot you sit in it. So I have not been in my sauna, but I'm going to get in it now.
Yeah. A sauna is not as hot as you think it is. The infrared isn't as hot as old hot saunas once were. Right. So I don't think you'll find it, if anything, it will help detoxify, like Heidi was saying. So to support you. And also if you're considering probably getting them out as well, just in preparation of that same, if you were hearing our conversation about Protandim NRF2, because of the anti-scarring and anti-fibrotic properties and reducing inflammation, that also would be really good to be inside your body too.
Okay. I'll have to go back. Is this recorded? Because
it is. It's all
okay.
recorded, and all of you that signed up for for it, I'll make sure you get it all this afternoon. Emailed out.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Any other question?
I don't think so. I was wanting to hear everybody else's too. So those were my
Yeah.
two.
Not a problem. And Nicole, Tanya?
Nicole.
I hopped on too late to have a question, so
No, you're good.
Oh, no, you're here.
We still have a little bit of time, so feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I've known Heidi for years. She's my hero, but I mostly wanted to hear what she had to say about GLP-1s, so I think I need the recording.
We can, we didn't do a deep dive on it. And so, Heidi, maybe you can just share a little bit about kind of the evolution of like where it came from, that all of a sudden what people are realizing microdosing, but now it's available naturally. Long story short, Nicole, is there's tremendous health benefits.
Yeah, I'm especially interested in the microdosing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the microdosing has powerful impacts beyond, here's the thing, there are candidates for microdosing and then there are candidates not for microdosing. So if someone is eating well, they're really working on their sleep, they're exercising every day, makes you a perfect candidate for a microdosing of GLP-1. Again, I think even microdosing, you hear me say it once, you'll hear me say it a million times, it should be in the water. Let's take the fluoride out. Let's go ahead and put GLP-1 because it's that beneficial to everything in our body. It's so great, but at the right dose. And so that's where the microdosing can be good if you're doing all the things. If there's a bigger struggle with weight and or genetics running up against you, then maybe something stronger in injectables or a combination thereof, a higher dose would be needed. But it's one of those things you micro and gradually go up and go back. There's probably more information than you want at this point, but a lot of times when people get weight loss and then it stalemates, the instinct is, oh, I need more GLP-1. And actually what we're finding is if you go back into the microdosing, it opens up those receptors more because they were clogged when the weight loss or the good benefits, the brain clarity, the get up and go starts to wane again. And I'm still on the GLP-1. It's probably because the receptors are a little clogged. You drop down in dose, let them become hungry again, and then you increase. It's fabulous stuff. Yes, Nicole, let's talk.
And Nicole, it may be even something that it's even a combination of doing some of the natural and some of the microdosing, and then going back and forth. You have access to Heidi, everybody doesn't. And so when you're really microdosing well, you have to have a practitioner that knows what they're doing and be near somebody. Like where I am, I could probably find somebody right now. I'm out in Indiana. So I don't have the resources like I did in Southern California. But for me right now, I'm just doing it on the natural side because it's pills in a powder and I don't need to have to rely on going to see somebody. I know a lot of the times people are doing their own injections, but still need to go in at least monthly with a practitioner.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. It's great conversation. And what once was just thought for weight loss, it's really opening up all of us in the medical and wellness field of these are natural hormones the body makes that have so many health benefits, but let's do it in a very safe manner because there's so many people out there getting dosed way too high, being way unsafe, losing muscle mass, which is the worst thing, right? Because it's the metabolic engine for all of us. It's our organ of longevity. We can't afford to lose muscle. Yes, yes, yes. So you guys, I'm just going to share one little quick video because this is something that Dr. Heidi and I want people to have access to us all the time. Anna, I don't know if you just unmuted again with another question.
No.
Perfect. But people sometimes they don't ask and they don't forget to ask and they don't move the needle forward in their health. And Dr. Heidi and I have said let's for 2025, we want everybody to have the best health possible. So what does that look like and how could we create it? So we've created a membership that people can have access. So if you don't live local to Heidi, you still have access to Heidi. If you can't go see her or drive to her weekly, or she doesn't have time in her schedule, actually is probably even the better, is I'm just going to show you a quick little video. And in the program that we have, we're bringing in other top guest health and wellness experts in women's health that are going to support you. And so what I love about this is we honor you guys' time coming in, asking questions, because we know you could be many places right now, and we appreciate your time here with us. And so with that, we'll finish a couple more questions at the end, because I see that Lewis and I think a couple more people have just joined as well. But you can have weekly access to us. And for those of you that are on, we do have a founding member price, but we're even giving a deeper discount to everybody that's here of not just $20 off, but $50 off. But let me just share with you what we've created. So give me one just quick second. And in the meantime, if anybody does want to throw any other questions in the chat, absolutely feel free.
Okay. You see now, Beth?
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys, I have way too much open on my computer. And then I just lost my window. And then I know, Heidi, you got to run very soon. Sorry, you guys. All right. Here we are. So this is a membership that Dr. Heidi and I have worked really hard helping people say, isn't it time we just stop messing around with your health, right? And we've added personalized care of a wellness collective that is a weekly membership of us. And I'm just going to show you this very quick video about what this is. It's 3 minutes. And like I said, and then we'll wrap up answering the last few questions. Oh gosh, but there's no volume, huh?
Is it muted by chance? Yeah, that bottom left corner. So it's muted when you click there.
And you felt better.
There we
you
go.
Felt energized,
Hold
you
on.
were in a community you loved, you wouldn't be looking for more. You wouldn't find us here. Take a little peek at some of the guests that you're going to see with myself and Dr. Heidi.
Not for me. Who do I think I am? I'm not enough. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? All of that is your fear talk track. The life-changing news is your thoughts are options, not facts. And the part of you, your future self, that is the vision, needs to learn how to think on purpose. Sounds like this. I was made for success. When I fail, I learn. What people think of me, it's none of my business. I am enough. I can do anything. It really opened my eyes in terms of, I've got to think about health, disease, wellness in a whole different way. And I was blessed. I ended up getting a job at Canyon Ranch in Lenox, Massachusetts. And that's when I met Mark Hyman and Kathy Swift and Todd Lepine and Cindy Geyer and all those wonderful people I still work with today. And I was sent on my first training program for functional medicine. And I remember going to the week-long course in functional medicine, and it just blew me away. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want to do. Now I understand more about how to think about the body and health and wellness, and how to think about how all the systems in the body are interrelated. And it just opened my eyes to really help me for myself figure out what I needed to do and shift to be healthier. We are going to be talking about how to easily and effortlessly activate the abundance that lives in your body, moment by moment, day by day, breath by breath. We have the capacity, the ability to do this. So here's the thing. It's been proven in clinical research that if you want to improve anything, if you want to get better at anything, you have to have a coach, accountability partner, a mentor, someone looking after your best interests to keep you moving forward. So that's what I love about our community, is the fact that you get to come, hang out like we're just having a cup of coffee together, or whatever your favorite beverage may be. And we're learning and implementing and seeing, what did I do? What can I do better? How could I improve? Oh, I'm learning. I didn't know that. Wow, that's really interesting. I'm going to try that. And so being able to network with other women who are like-minded, who really want to improve their health and do just like you,
We're excited that you're here. We can't wait for you to join us. And you choose whatever level of membership is for you. And remember, come in for 30 days, check us out. If you're like, I'm out of here, you know what? We just hope that you find the right place for you. But for now, let's see how it rolls. Hope to see you inside.
So you guys, that's just a sneak. You guys, I'll give you the link to go check this out, but there are a couple different levels of the membership if you guys are interested. Those were just some of the guest speakers that we have. They're absolutely incredible individuals, but there is more access to Dr. Heidi and I should you choose. There's the basic plan at $149 a month, which, like I said, we have a founding member price right now, $129. But for those of you that are here with us, you guys are getting this membership for $99 a month or $50 off either the other plans as well. So to have access to both of us for these prices is really, we just want it to be something that isn't like finances shouldn't be a stumbling block for anybody. We want everybody to have the access to ultimate health. And so that's what we want to truly offer it to each and every one of you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to open up to last questions, and then I'll put up a slide that just gives you a link, a QR code to scan. It can be you might be thinking, oh my God, me and my best friend have been talking about this. We want this. Whatever that may be, really, we're just trying to bring the best of ourselves to as many of you as we can. Heidi, I don't know if you saw any other questions come in at the time. Elena, and our podcast is called Thriving in Midlife. I'll be sure to include that in the recording for those of you that want to follow our podcast as well. We'll give that to you. And any other last questions? I know we had one or two late bloomers jump on. All right, you guys. Well, this is, if you guys want to just scan this, this is to join today. Again, you get $50 off per month, and you're going to use this code called Holiday24. So make sure to save that. This will take you straight to the link. When I send you the recording, I'll also give you the website to join as well. I'm just leaving that up for a moment so you guys can scan. And if you're not a woman, so that you can't quite join this, what I would say is reach out to Heidi. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you've connected how can we serve you? How can we support you? Because ultimately we've just created this because we all deserve to be our best self. Heidi, closing thoughts for everyone.
Closing thoughts. This has been really fun. I so appreciate everyone joining, and I'm sorry about the confusion of the not seeing the Eastern Time, Central Time. Everything's a learning process, right? We are learning, but so appreciate that you all joined and that the questions you asked, they were all really great. And I think everyone gets tips and help from everyone's questions. So I love that community, and that's really what Kelly and I love about this. And we really want to encourage community sharing, because we all struggle with the same kind of things. What diet? How should I eat? Should I really take this supplement? What does it mean that I'm taking this? How do I know they're working? These things need to be answered, and we want to create a space for you to get those answers and a space to support each other. So join us.
Join us. You guys, thank you again so much to each and every one of you guys. Like I said, you'll be getting an email, and if you have any other future questions, you can definitely reach out to Heidi or myself. I'll try to answer as much as I can over in the email back to you guys. But with that, we are signing off. Thanks you guys so much for being here, and we hope to see you inside the membership.
Thank you. Nora, give me a call.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.